Hey, what's up, guys? This is Fula with another video. Shout outs to the whole LDBC. Now, in this video, man, I really want to talk about something that, someone mentioned in the chat we were having the other day. And it kind of struck me because, now that I think about it, it very well can happen. It's very possible that what we're about to talk about can happen. And that is that Canelo may mess around and vacate his WBC strap. It would not really surprise me if he did. And the reason that being is because the competition is really too stiff. I mean, there's a lot of smoke at 160. And, it's either you defend the title against that smoke, and what I mean by that is you defend it against Jamal Charlo, or you just give it up. That's pretty much it. Because we have to look at what Canelo has done in the past. I really don't see Canelo trying to unify them belts with like a Daniel Jacobs. Although I would give him the chance, Canelo the best chance at beating Daniel Jacobs. Or I don't see him unifying the belts with Demetrius Andrade. I really don't see that happening. Now, what I'm going to tell you is this. At 154, Canelo was doing the same exact thing. The very same thing. He was hopscotching different divisions, okay? Until he made his own division, basically. And that was the catchweight division. And that's how, that's when he had his cake and was able to eat it too. Now, when Demetrius Andrade was WBO champion at 154, Canelo had a choice of either fighting him, because he was in the rankings to fight Demetrius Andrade for the WBO strap, okay? Instead, he opted to fight James Kirkland, who was inactive, did not have a belt, and conveniently they decided to not let Ann Wolf be in his corner. That was one of the stipulations of that fight. And granted, James Kirkland has some stuff going on outside of boxing too. Legal troubles, this, that, and the other. Now, when Demetrius Andrade was stripped of that belt, what happened was it became vacant. So Canelo fought Liam Smith for that same belt, okay? Now, mind you, Demetrius Andrade was still in the rankings though, however. So he was the title, he was the next defense that Canelo had to make. So Demetrius Andrade was like, either get beat by Liam Smith or get your ass kicked by me. Those were his words. Once Canelo won that belt, though, he vacated it. He messed around and vacated it, okay? Now, let's do it with the Charlo, okay? Same thing. Charlo's been the mandatory for a long time. Both of the twins have been calling out Canelo. You know what I mean? And again, Canelo vacated the belt. And then what happens is once these belts are vacant and whatnot, Canelo will fight for them when it's against when it's against lesser opposition. But then when he has to defend the belt against tough opposition, he will vacate it. Or he will change his weight class. He'll decide that I'm not fighting at this weight class, I'm fighting at a different weight class now. You know, this has been the case with him pretty much the whole time. You know? So, I wouldn't be surprised if he does it again. I wouldn't be surprised if he vacates that WBC strap. And, you know, although WBC does favor him and give him a lot of favoritism, you know, I think they will, I think what's going to happen is that he's going to do either one or two things. The first thing he may do is he may fight Triple G, okay? That seems like the most likely option, you know. And I think what's going to happen for Canelo, because he is the cash cow and he's the A-side for basically a lot of fights, is although the WBC did order Charlo to fight Golovkin to get a shot at Canelo, what's going to happen is they're going to probably override that and they're not going to enforce it. That's what's probably going to happen, you know. I think, you know, although that they seem like they don't want that fight, I think Team Canelo will still entertain that fight of Golovkin. You know, I think because at the end of the day, you know, Canelo fans and Triple G fans alike will say, well, who has Charlo fought? Who has Andre fought? Who have these guys fought? But if Canelo fights Rocky Fielding, if Golovkin fights Martirosyan, if Canelo fights like Angulo or something like that, is completely okay. That's completely fine with them. You know, they won't question it at all. And then the second thing they'll do is they'll say, well, why doesn't Charlo and Jacobs or Jacobs and Andre fight each other? The simple fact of the matter is this: why should they have to fight each other if they've done what was necessary to get in the position to get a Canelo fight? You know, why should they have to do that? You know what I mean? If they're in pole position to get a fight with him. And, you know, people can go off of resumes and stuff like that, but, you know, you never really know what's going to come of a fight until the fight actually happens. You know, you never really know what someone is made of until we actually see them in the trenches. You know what I mean? And I can speak for myself when I saw what kind of boxers give Canelo trouble. And boxers give Canelo trouble. Smart, moving ring generals give Canelo trouble. With outside boxing ability and also good defensive ability. Because we saw what happened with Lara. We saw what happened with Trout and even Cotto. You know, a lot of people said that, you know, that Cotto fight was a tie. You know, a lot of people even said that, you know, the Austin Trout fight was a tie. A lot of people even said that the Lara fight was 115-113 to Lara, okay? That's what a lot of people said. You even had people like Robert Guerrero saying the same thing, that, you know, Lara won the fight, you know. He even said that. So I think that, like, you know, that because he is a fan favorite and because he is, like, he has transcended boxing itself, I think what's going to happen is that fans will be content with him fighting these guys, you know. Fans will be completely contented with this level of opposition. So I wouldn't really be surprised if, and I said this before in another video, I wouldn't be surprised if Canelo in his next 3 fights or so, I would not be surprised if Canelo retires. You know, it wouldn't surprise me at all if he hangs it up, because he will figure that he's done enough. You know what I mean? And so another thing I want to mention about Canelo too is that, you know, he can get away with a lot, man. I just want to mention a little bit about this hand stacking incident, man, because it's happened on more than one occasion. It happened in the Golovkin fight, right? And now there's a news report saying that it happened in the Rocky Fielding fight too, and he had to rewrap his hands. So you have to ask yourself, like, okay, well, if you're supposed to be the superior boxer and the superior fighter and this this warrior, why is the need for you to overstack your hands, man? Why are you trying to kill someone in a fight, man? At the end of the day, you don't play boxing. We understand that, but at the same time, boxing is a sport. Keyword sport. Still a sport, man. Like, why are you trying to kill someone? You know, or why are you trying to give someone permanent trauma by, like, stacking your hands up, man? You know, because that's all bad. You know, I will believe that, I believe this, that, you know, when Miguel Cotto fought Margarita Rigo, or whatever his name is, when that dude's hands were stacked, that really affected Cotto's career, man. That really left an impact on his whole career. Like, I honestly believe that, like, he wasn't the same after that fight, man. Like, seriously. He was not the same Cotto, you know? So, what I'm saying is, man, like, you can't really stack your hands, man. Why go that route? You know? But I know I'm going to get a lot of backlash from Canelo fans and stuff like that. But, I mean, at the end of the day, it is what it is, man. That's just my opinion of the whole thing. I really think that, you know, he's going to vacate, dude. I really honestly think he's close to retirement, man. Because you just have to look at it, man. The middleweight division is stacked, and now that he's on the zone, I mean, there's no excuses for a Jacobs fight not to happen, you know. Now, granted, these fighters want these fights for the cash, you know. It's a big payday fight. Don't get it wrong. You know, at the end of the day, it's called prize fighting for a reason. So, I can see the financial benefit from them fighting him. But at the same time, I can really just see these, like, athletic boxers giving Canelo a fit, man. I really can see it happening, man. Because when you look at, like, a fighter like Lara, who gave Canelo fits, and when you look at a fighter like Mayweather, who basically enrolled Canelo in boxing university, you know, front row seat, they all have one thing in common. They were all long fighters. They all had long arms. You know, they all had these, basically, these lengthy arms. You know what I mean? And so that just really gave Canelo fits, man. I just rewatched, like, the Canelo versus Lara fight, and, you know, it was just giving him so many fits, man. You know, when you look at the Mayweather fight, man, like, Floyd just really, it was like, that was some of the best boxing I've seen, man. For real. You know, I mean, you can only give Canelo maybe 1 or 2 rounds in that fight. You know, and I think, like, honestly, there's still, like, some threats at 168. So I really think the move for him now is the catch weight move. I really think that's going to be it. The vacate and catch weight. And, you know, the fans will accept that. And, you know, it remains to be seen what's going to happen, though. You know, Oscar De La Hoya has said that, you know, Canelo wants to fight the best, this, that, and the other. But, you know, he doesn't want to fight the best. I think it's just, as they say, it's just clickbait, man. That's all it is. You know, because when you got to look at how people move. When like guys who make fights say their fighter wants to fight the best, that's usually a sign that their fighter doesn't want to fight the best. When you look at the movers who make the fights, there's really no talking to it, man. They just make the fight. That's how it really works, you know. Negotiations get underway, fight gets made, boom. You know, there's no talking from either party, really. You know, I mean, there was really not that much talking when you look at how the Deontay Wilder-Tyson Fury fight was made. There was really not that much talking. Fight got made, boom. What's another example? The Laura Hurd fight, boom. It's made, man. Not that much talking, bam, made. And now, granted, the Laura Hurd fight, those are both Al Heyman fighters, but still, fight got made really quickly. What else is another fight? Another fight with the best are fighting the best, and it gets made very quickly. I wouldn't say the best are fighting the best in this fight, but I think they're on the other side of the pond, basically. But, you know, David Lemieux versus Billy Joe Saunders, boom, fight gets made. You know, not that much talking. Lomachenko versus Linares, boom, not that much talking. So, yeah, that's how I feel about it, man. But what do you guys think Canelo's going to do, man? Do you guys think he's going to vacate that belt? Or do you think he's going to take all fades, basically? It's not that I don't even mind him getting a tune-up. You know, I really don't mind him having a tune-up or having a couple of easy fights. You can't fight the best all the time. But, you know, I really just don't think he about that life, man. I really don't. Nothing has shown that, you know, he's really about that life. But anyway, you know, leave your thoughts, leave your comments. Let me know what you think his next move is going to be. And, yeah, we just got to wait and see. You know, Cinco de Mayo is likely going to be the date. So, you know, off until the next one, guys.